Shalom. My name is Yehoshua Yaakov, and I'm making this video from Jerusalem. Pat Donald's commenting on why does faith deserve respect, and so Pat is insisting upon anybody who has to get respect has to produce. If they believe they're a chicken, they should have to produce eggs. Well, gosh, Pat, that's pretty reasonable. Well, I think Pat here in this video is a very good example of you talking about yourself, and certainly Pat is the angry little boy is out of the closet in this video, and he's flaming massively, and he's saying, he's demanding, and he's demanding respect, and he's saying the way I'm going to get respect is I'm going to flame for attention. Well, attention is no substitute for respect, Pat. You know this. And having said that, we're coming full circle, Pat. You got to exist, Pat, and all this dialogic, this whole dialogue of videos, and all the attention isn't getting you any respect. So you're talking about yourself. So you got to get the mirror, and you got to look in that mirror, and you got to ask yourself the basic question: who am I? And when you get the answer, I think you would be well advised to apply initially and strenuously the theory of diffidence. And because there is prima facie a very substantive self-esteem here manifest by the angry little boy that's out of the closet who is accusing the God of the cosmos of non-existence, and every Christian religion, its dogma is empty and shallow and false, and to be discarded and distrusted. Well, there is just a lot of powerful prima facie evidence to support any number of your claims and arguments, and you're really having a great response. People are looking at your videos, and particularly youngsters are very impressed with the wisdom and sagacity of your arguments. But Pat, can we talk? I mean, come on, you're flaming for attention. And do you know who you are? I don't think you do. And I have to confide in you the truth, and that is, I'm trained and capable to make the observation from listening to you. This is what you're telling me, and this is the meta-narrative of the grammar and the white space between the duality that's the good Pat and the evil inclination of the Pat. That these are the only two Pat Donalds you know, and they're both the product of exile. They're both the product of its old model now collapsed, which is giving to receive. These are things that you don't know, you don't understand, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, but it's all very clear and very rational. You're right and the world is wrong. Well, I'm not saying you're wrong and the world's right. Because the truth be known, the man in mankind has been in exile for thousands of years, you included. But that's ended, and you do not know nor understand, much less comprehend, either the framework in which this is so, and what makes it so. And your impressive monologue goes on and on and on ad nausea about the disclaiming of the Holy Spirit, the non-existence of God, how foolish and ridiculous are people of faith and belief in belief, and but at the end of the day, this secular humanism, the comic climbs the ladder of secular humanism, and there is Nietzsche put it across in his philosophy of nihilism. At the top of the ladder, there comes somebody there to knock old Pat Donald right off the ladder and crash him right down on his head. And guess who that wicked, evil demon is at the top of the ladder? The ladder of secular humanism, of that profound inductive and deductive reasoning and logic. It's so impressive. I'm really impressed. His name is Pat Donald. You don't even know who he is. And he isn't going to put up with, he isn't going to tolerate this angry little boy and his flaming, dialogic. It's, this is your destiny. And, okay, so it's man and mankind's destiny. Pat, you take yourself too serious. But having said that, it's your prerogative. I mean, who's going to, I've had some of my colleagues say, what are you doing making videos talking to this wacko? He's flaming for attention, and ignore him. But, Pat, that said, not in any condescending way, I was born and raised Michael O'Donnell, an Irish Catholic, and by the age of bar mitzvah I came home. And I'm somewhat attuned to the affliction, the roots of the affliction that are manifest in your dialogic, and there is an empathy that compels this commentary. Okay, look, the local reality that was man and mankind's exile, Pat, has collapsed. It's ended. It's finished. It was giving to receive. That's the old dogma. I give, I get. That's what you were brought up in. That's what all man and mankind was brought up in. And what's left is the convergence to the middle of both East and West models, religious included. And I suspect that both Christianity and Islam are undergoing some cataclysmic fundamental transformations in the decades ahead. But it's not going to produce a world of atheism, not by any stretch of the imagination. What we're going to see is the ascent of man from a behavioral animal to a cognitive being globally. We're going to see the convergence of East and West systems. We're going to see the secular humanist. Secular humanism will converge with traditional spiritualism. And the resulting hybrid is an identity-resolved, cognitive man that will inhabit the earth, and that genotype, in our tradition we call it Mashiach, will spawn its in the phenotype. Okay, so having said these things, these are things that I'm sure you know better than I. I mean, a guy who has all of the knowledge that you have. But in the meantime, the suggestion is that be a little bit more kind and gentle with yourself, and a little less tough on the charge. The public who are looking to particularly the youth, are being very much influenced by your rhetoric, and it's there's so much, Pat, that you don't know what you're talking about, and I understand but you got to learn, you got to ascend. So some advice: listen first and listen only to the God of the cosmos, and you will hear, and you will see, and you will understand, and believe it or not, one day you will even comprehend, and you're locked into the anger, denial, negotiation, acceptance of the old model of exile, which is the collapse of local reality, giving to receive, and these things you don't know or understand. You're just the secular humanism has you climb to the top of the ladder, and your Swiss cheese epistemologies, with all their holes in them, are sounding like a brilliant articulation that's impressing a lot of young people that are very impressionable. And I suggest to you to very strongly consider to reconsider a lot of things that implications of a lot of things you're saying. Having said that, I wish you Godspeed, and that God should bless you. I'm sorry to upset you with such a thing. Kabel b'shvilatet, in Hebrew, receiving to give is the blessing of man and mankind's redemption. And I wish this for you, your spouse, your family, your children, your community, and for all the world. Thank you for listening. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov from Jerusalem.